Hi guys, good morning everyone. Today we embark on a journey to explore a critical cybersecurity threat that is none other than the SQL injection. My name is Kirtika Sharma. My student ID is 223290432. This is my video presentation for the high distinction task of SIT 103, that is Database Fundamentals. Specifically, we will delve into how cyber criminals exploit vulnerabilities within web application input validation mechanisms to execute this attack, and we will discuss the profound consequences that may follow. So let's start with the introduction. Okay, so in our interconnected digital age, everyone is well aware that the modern age is all about the digital technology. So cybersecurity becomes a great concern for everyone. From data breaches to hacking attempts, these risks constantly evolve. So in this presentation, we will focus on one particularly threat, that is the SQL injection, and it's a very important concern point that has to be discussed. So let's first begin by what actually SQL injection is. So SQL injection is a very vast concept. So I'm going to give a brief concept in this video presentation. SQL injection is actually a vulnerability in a web application's security. It's a technique where cyber criminals manipulate flaws in how a web application checks the information you provide. So here I mentioned SQL, the structured query language, it's the full form, is a standardized programming language for managing and manipulating relational databases. This is just for introduction for whom those are not aware of SQL. So it is just a query language. It plays a crucial role in database management, providing a common language for working with databases efficiently and effectively. So SQL is like you use the queries to store your databases for different streams like school, hospitals, business, and everything, and it makes your work very easy to handle a lot of data. So it becomes very important because you are storing a lot of data in the SQL. So a cybersecurity hole known as SQL injection allows attackers to inject malicious SQL code by taking advantage of weakness in how an online application handles user input. They can alter the database in this way. So if your database is being altered or they are modified, so you can see like how important it is to prevent yourself, because they can misuse your personal data in a wrong way, get access without authorization, and possibly retrieve or modify important data. So moving ahead, SQL injection as a cybersecurity flaw. Now let's delve into how cyber criminals exploit the weakness in input validation systems. They use these vulnerabilities as entry points to inject malicious SQL code into web applications. Once they succeed, they can manipulate database queries, gain unauthorized access, and potentially compromise the integrity of sensitive data stored within the database. It is very similar to just I spoke before. Let's read that once. Malicious actors can take advantage of holes in the input validation systems in web applications to introduce SQL injection. A cybersecurity weakness, they can alter database queries, obtain unauthorized access, and potentially retrieve, edit, or even destroy sensitive data kept in the database by inserting malicious SQL code through user input forms. Let's go ahead. Suppose your SQL is injected. So what are the consequences of it? Like how it's gonna be affect you. So it's very important like what it will happen. So the implications of a successful SQL injection attack can be devastating. That's very true. Attackers can tailor database queries to fit their malicious goals. They can steal confidential data, modify or even destroy them, and undermine the stability of your systems. So like this chart is showing unauthorized access, data breaches, data manipulation or deletion, system outages, financial losses, reputational data damage, compliance violations. Now, how are you going to prevent this? So these are the ways you can use to prevent from SQL injection: input validation and sanitation, prepared statements and parameterized queries, least privilege principle, stored procedures, whitelist input validation, web application firewalls. So the best option I would suggest personally would be the firewalls. Most of the people use firewall to prevent from the SQL injection. So it's a very common, most of the people have heard about it. So now I would proceed about my research work, like how I found and made my report and all this presentation. So to investigate the subject of SQL injection thoroughly, I consulted several reliable resources, ensuring a comprehensive exploration of this cybersecurity threat. So in order to investigate this, online resources like CrowdStrike, Impera, and Simplilearn, these all are being used by me. The extensive knowledge on threat modeling and SQL injection on this website, OWASP, was also cited. Additionally, of course, the Google was used to look for relevant pictures and examples of SQL injection, improving the research visual component. The use of these various sources ensured a thorough and educational investigation of this issue. Let's go ahead. The incorporation of these diverse and reputable resources ensured a thorough and educational investigation of the issue, enabling me to comprehensively address the SQL injection and its implications. So it was very easy for me by using these resources to learn more about SQL injection. So last but not the least, I would say prevention is better than injection. Secure SQL to protect your data. So be very careful while using SQL. So protect everything from SQL injection. And thank you for your attention. And now be safe and do use the protection safety as mentioned earlier. Thank you so much.